Hello and welcome. My name is Chris from ChristopherHole.com. Welcome to episode 17 of the podcast. In this episode, we are going to work through the 5 reasons to remove sit-ups and crunches from your workout. Now, just a quick background, if you will. When I started as a trainer, I did include sit-ups and crunches. Then I came across some work by a guy called Dr. Stuart McGill. I'd heard it before, but didn't really take it necessarily that seriously. But when I read the book, Low Back Disorder, that was when I really started taking it seriously, because I understood that a lot of people have back pain and that sit-ups and crunches don't help people with back pain or weak cores, if you will. So that's just a very brief background. I've given myself the challenge to keep this as short as possible as well. So I'm not going to explain necessarily too much on that because I want to keep it short. But so into the 5 reasons to remove sit-ups and crunches from your workout. But before we do that, just quickly mention, please do come to Facebook, Christopher Hole Training, Twitter @ChristopherHole, Instagram, Christopher Hole. It'd be great to see you there, answer any questions that you may have. Alternatively, come to the website, ChristopherHole.com/join. Join on the monthly newsletter, where we share as much as we can, all video content, keep it as engaging as possible on the subject of health and fitness, exercise, nutrition, habits, behavior, whatever it needs to be. So, the 5 reasons to remove sit-ups and crunches from your workout. Now, again, they are very popular exercises. A lot of people like doing them. But hopefully by the end of this, you'll have a better understanding and be able to make a more informed decision. So, number 1, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. When you train sit-ups and crunches, you are working a few of its parts. But the core is better when it works as a whole. It can transfer energy. It's much stronger. So, number 1 is the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. Number 2, the spine doesn't like repetitive bending under load. So sit-ups and crunches do put a degree of load on the spine, and obviously the repetitive nature of it, the more sit-ups you do, the less the spine likes it. It's more to do with the intervertebral discs. What it does do is it contributes to the mechanism of disc bulge and herniation. If you can imagine bending a credit card back and forth, and you keep doing it, and then eventually it wears out and it breaks, that's a very similar thing happening within your spine. So number 2 is the spine doesn't like repetitive bending under load. Number 3, your core is designed to prevent movement, not necessarily create it. When you do sit-ups and crunches, you're trying to create movement. Your hips and shoulders are much better at creating movement, and your spine and your core muscles are much better at preventing movement because of the different directions that the muscles go in. So they create like a carbon fiber type effect when they're engaged all at the same time. So number 3 is the core is designed to prevent movement. Now, this one depends what perspective you're looking at it, but number 4, there are no agonists and antagonists. So an agonist is a working muscle and an antagonist is an opposing muscle. Now, you can look at the core and say the rectus abdominis is the agonist and the erector spinae group is the antagonist, because that's the muscle relaxing. But as I've just mentioned so far, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. So if we're working the core as one unit, there are no agonists or antagonists. So we need to understand that and bring that into our training. So number 4, there are no antagonists or agonists. And number 5, a healthy body has a balance of mobility and stability. So when we're talking about movement, when we go up onto one leg, when we do the exercise, the bird dog, and bring one leg and one arm off the floor, when we are lifting a heavy weight from the floor, it needs to be able to move from the hips and the shoulders, and it needs to be stable through the spine. Because when we're, again, as I mentioned, as we're lifting heavy weight, our spine needs to be in that neutral, fixed position. It's different when we're moving around in everyday life. So what we need to do is we need to learn to create tension under load. When we are in everyday life, we can move our spine, we can bend, we can fold. But as when I spoke to Dr. Stuart McGill, I specifically said to him, would it be better if people were building a foundation in neutral, which would give them more margin for error as they move? And his very simple answer to that was yes. So what we need to be able to do is build a foundation in neutral, which gives us much more margin for error when we're talking about movement. So those are my 5 reasons to remove sit-ups and crunches from your workout. So many thanks for watching. Just quickly again, my Facebook is Christopher Hole Training, Twitter is at Christopher Hole, and Christopher Hole on Instagram. Alternatively, come to the website, sign up to the monthly newsletter at christopherhole.com/join. Many thanks for watching. This has been the 5 reasons to remove sit-ups and crunches from your workout, episode 17 of the podcast.